to people. Today I'm with the legend, the man himself. You've seen him before, and then you told him because you said so. That's Mr. Jason Runo himself. Welcome, my brother, to the
Thanks,
show.
man. Thank you.
So we're trying to figure out where to start this story from. Because I've known this guy from a long time.
Yeah.
From days of, I'm seeing the time. So it's come from far. We've known each other since we were pre-unit. Then there was a gap.
Yeah.
But before I go far, let him introduce himself first.
Hi guys, my name is Jason Runo, producer for Because You Said So, which is a local improv comedy show. And then I also do a lot of corporate MC work. And recently I became a beekeeper, bee farmer, and I love it. Yeah,
He likes honey.
honey.
But before the BYSS, we used to meet in the plane, by the way.
Yeah.
Those guys of smuggling, those guys of make sure the exit is not behind you. So living in the plane used to be those guys of smuggling from me. Mad whiskey, this small thing is magic. I must have looked like an alcoholic. Come to think of it. But it was lovely. That's why I love flying KQ, by the way. If anybody from KQ is listening to this, please, there are free air tickets. I will not say no, not at all. So yeah, so before you got into BYSS and MC, so you're on KBC, and then you're also on the KQ team.
Yeah.
So how was that transition been for you?
It's been crazy. It's been crazy. And okay, so yeah, like I said, we met in pre-units. And my first years of primary school actually been such memorable years. Hospital Hill was a good school.
Amazing.
I remember when I went to boarding school and was transferred from Hospital Hill, I probably spent the rest of my boarding school experience from class 3 writing to my mom every day, every week, like, please take me back.
Are you serious?
Hey, man, even I was missing hot lunches. I'm like, yani watoto wa HHS leo wanakula burger. What is this life? Why? Shaky upper lip.
Which school are you taken to, by the way?
I went to a school called Utawala Academy, which initially, before they changed, they rebranded to Utawala Academy, was APTC Primary School.
Administration Police
Training College Primary School. You guys, that school was nasty. Man, we used to be chapwad, we were always wrong. And it was in the training camp for APs.
Yes.
So I don't think they ever realized the difference between
Kids
and the kudos. Because imagine you used to wake up in the morning to run with them, jogging. You know, you're doing
Class 3.
Class, you guys, you're children. Every Sunday we had inspection. You stand next to your bed after church. Hey, you guys used to be
Better so you made the square.
and all of you have to have the same design. All of you. Then it was that thing of you know, like Jeshi.
Yeah.
If one person is wrong,
All of
everybody
you are
else
wrong.
yeah, you guys.
I know Oprah.
There is
You
nothing.
get a meeting.
Everybody gets a meeting. You guys, it was madness. But you guys, the one thing I learned from that experience was camaraderie. And you see, we could never leave somebody behind because you know, if you know how life is these days. If someone is doing not too well, you're like
Cancellation.
Those days, you know, like even the dirtiest kid in your cubicle or your dormitory, it was everybody's responsibility. You have to make sure this guy is ready for Sunday inspection. Yeah, you can't all of you your shirts
Clean, the knees get
the
dirty.
number of kids with packed their shoes Vaseline.
Make it shiny.
Hey, because the teacher is ready. If you can hear the main door, the dome, you can hear their because this when the headmaster figures the door for the dome, the house captain has to shout for the whole dome. So like, Lord Kimathi dome, attention. Then you go, what? We had a whole thing. Then you sit next to your box. It's open. Your shirts have been neat. Then you look and you say, this class 2 kid shoes are chafu. What the hell? What do we do? And sasa hiyo mwalimu washaingia. Ushaanza kusikia tu nini ya kwanza, washaanza kuchapwa. Teacher, I'm sorry. Like, what the fuck what do you do? Vaseline. Kuchapa.
Anyway.
Such a... Why did they chapa so much?
let me tell you, I met our coach in Ismail Rasta. We actually asked him, Moshai, why were you chapping us? They're like, you know what? Then they were trained, spare the rod for the child, which was wrong. The other thing was just talk to us. We listen also. Because even the more you beat kids, the more you listen. Look like in our pitch. Remember like in our pitch? My friends, those guys, it didn't matter. Whether you beat them, whip them, they're like, yeah, whatever, man.
But I honestly think as a generation, and guys who went through that time of corporal punishment, I think there has to be some sort of counseling or something, because I think a lot of people carry a lot of trauma from that experience.
Yeah, they're not okay.
And they're not okay. Say, for example, you find people who, like in my experience, because it was really like Jeshi, and the one thing we never ever were taught never to do is to question authority. Never, like, you guys, that thing was so imprinted in your head, and all the time you're being chapad for reasons, for some, like there was once, you know, our school was behind the airport.
Yes.
So every day that's taking off, we used to see.
Yes.
So now the headmaster is there, is lecturing us for something.
Then kids, shh.
Then the guy was pretending. So it's noisy. So, you know, even by the time he was pretending at school, even the landing gear was still still. So just, shh. Then the headmaster was like, have you heard? Guys are like, no. And you guys, all of a sudden, from there to there, all of you to my office. Then kidogo you're seeing teachers walking into the staff room. You guys just like this, stretching, waiting to chapa you.
What?
It was a genuine thing, like we honestly can't
You didn't hear what you're saying.
because of the guy thought now you're being rude.
Oh Lord.
Imagine you start your morning from 7 to 10, it's just because. So I think there has to be a way, like we go through some.
Yeah, we need to change.
We need to go through some healing of some sort. I think you find people who, when they see something like cops, they can't even explain what they, even though you've done nothing wrong.
Which is true. All of us psychologically, guys won't say it, but anytime you see a cop, you hear like my insurance is okay, my deal is okay. You start wondering what, instead of thinking, maybe you have a problem. I need this guy to help me with my problem. But
You guys just there, oh my, like,
don't stop me, don't stop me, don't stop me, don't stop me.
don't look at me, don't look at me, don't look at me.
Because you're so used to authority just being at yourself. Which is true, actually.
Even a simple question like why?
Yes.
Follow me to the station. Why?
Why?
Why
You
should
can't
I?
ask why.
You can't.
Come on, Andy.
Ah,
I
you
had
guys.
this discussion with Nam when he was telling me this. It's like we received a system which was meant to oppress,
Yeah.
and the people were the natives who were us. So when the Odieros Tomoka, the colonizers, who don't know what Odieros are, the colonizers left, we were left with a system of oppression of the public and the natives. So what happened was it was transferred to the people who were given authority.
Yeah.
But it is such a well-oiled machine, it doesn't matter what you do. Once you're there, it's supposed to just oppress you. It doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong,
That's
reason
true.
nothing.
That's true, because you see even the colonial system. But then, you know, I study anthropology, so it's very interesting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went back to school this year.
Oh,
I'm a first year.
You're a rebel.
First sem.
Pressure.
But anyway, I've been digging a lot into like our history and stuff like that. You see those people who are given that authority are the guys now who are siding with the colonial.
Yes.
So those people who are taught and brainwashed to think that the masses are
Always wrong. It
are
doesn't
always
matter.
wrong
Nothing.
and they are
It's just now
stupid, they must be
submission.
shepherd, you guy, you're the one in charge.
Yes.
But look what that has done. Even like it's right from school, the prefecting system. It's like the head boy is meant to be the worst oppressor.
Yes.
You know, but according to the headmaster, he's the guy now who comes, you know.
And tells you about the student issues.
He gets special dishes.
Yes.
But the rest of you are just like,
Garaganias.
look at the political system.
It's the same thing.
People look at you, they benefit, they get all, you know, they're well taken care of.
Trickle down.
But now, the leaders, how they treat the people.
It's like the question you ask when I voted for you. You're now my president, whatever you are. But all of a sudden, you fear me so much, you've got chase cars, bodyguards, and you must be taken off the road. Like, what a dude!
Yeah.
I voted for you.
Yeah.
The same question begs to ask when I ask, so why you're a good guy, we vote for you? Like, say, for example, this is maybe, but yes. So, like, our girls who are in civil rights, we vote for you because we think you are looking after the civil liberties of people. When you get into office, you then change and become like those guys. And also, that machine is so. Once you're put in that game, it's like
You
just
don't realize-
Jumanji. You're inside. You guys just hypnotize. You're inside. So the next thing you want is
You look like a nigga when the engines are starting.
my way. And that's the thing, and I don't think we realize that because
Yeah.
I watched the Tomboy, the play.
I know what I say.
Yeah.
Too early for birds.
Too early for birds.
Yeah.
And it makes
Amazing
you,
guy.
Yes, and it makes you realize, I'm like, it's the same. The system we were given was actually flawed, and nobody wants to change it because once you get in there, you benefit.
You guys, can I give you a perfect example? And you guys remind me, you'll be very shocked. Can you remember Moi himself had convinced the whole country that Wangari Maathai is a mad woman?
Oh yes.
And we were, you remember, 92 she ran for president.
Yeah.
It was Nani's, do you how many thousand in it? Wangari Maathai, 0 votes. 1 vote.
Yeah.
She was getting, like, the whole country
Mediocre
believed,
votes.
this woman is bad.
And yet she said, nature is very unforgiving.
Yeah.
When she was being when her mates.
I remember.
And she said, you guys will remember this 10 years from now. Green Belt movement.
Yeah.
You spoil this, you will see what happens to the ecosystem. Then it became politics says, Nyani alisema miti ndio inaleta mvua. Mvua inatoka mbinguni sio kwa miti.
Like what?
And yet where he's coming from his shags, the lakes are dried up. Crocodile skeletons are actually showing up.
It's so insane.
Dude.
You know, people only really, truly came to appreciate Wangari Maathai, I think, after she won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes.
That's when now it became like, you know, people started having t-shirts.
Like, all of a sudden,
But
she's
if
our hero.
you really go back to like those days, 92, when she was trying to run for, like when she was like
Very strong about this.
so passionate about, you know, hugging trees and cops. Aye, Moi was there. Oh, mwanamke wazimu, and but the majority of people, it's just that people will not confess, they will not tell you. But a lot of people, even in my young age, were like,
So lady,
what's her story?
Me, I grew up in Kiamba. We used to drive past very many green belt movement signs.
Yeah.
Which were now covering Karura, across from Hospital Hill, all the way to the chief. Here's green belt sign. You know, I'm like, hey, there was one on Bothaida, there was one on Karura there. It was, now, later on in life, it was strategically good because they were put in places where girls were grabbing.
Yeah.
Like, this is part of the green belt. This whole side, you don't tax the trees.
Yeah.
Ecosystem. No one listened. Now you can't tell when the rain is coming properly. When it's,
Can I tell you a funny story? Me, when I was a kid, when I see those green belts science movement, I had not made the connection between Wangari Maathai and green belt movement. So actually, I used to tell my mom, I want to go to these guys for karate.
Oh, because of the
green belt. Like these guys for karate. These guys for karate have many branches.
And there's a branch near our things even in shags. Can you just get in there, man? And come
I can go there to learn karate. But anyway, nice makes sense.
That's why they say a killing in your now when you There's a problem. There's a problem clearly. Hey, but I think there's a lot that we need to do in the theater and arts. But sorry guys, we digressed.
We digressed a lot.
A lot, not even Kidogo. So what made you start doing BYSS?
The truth is, so remember when, backstory I think Tony mentioned is I was in KQ for 8 years flying. And a lot of times, especially West Africa routes, after we had not seen each other
For
a long time since Primo, one day I'm in the leg, I'm just prepping for the flight, and then I see this guy like, long time! I couldn't even remember your name. I was too embarrassed to ask. He was like, "Is that guy from Primo?" But that was a fun experience, seeing the world, traveling the world. But you know, it was so interesting because, you know, in life, I think people, the one thing that I'm learning now that is very important in life is just acceptance. Accept your situation. You know, like those days I'm sure I used to look at me and think, wow, this guy is traveling the world.
Yeah, of course, for
He's
free.
enjoying for free. But now even me, I'm looking like, Yani, now me, I didn't take these corporate jobs. Now I see my friends who are in corporate, how now they're ventilate, now I'm just playing with them. I'm here being a watch. My life has not moved. I'm just a waiter. Actually, what nonsense is that? But anyway, so after I lost that job, because we were fired.
Here's what it went.
I was so excited because recently I saw John Alanamu did that story about
Yes,
what
yes,
really
yes.
happened
Well,
to
okay,
KQ.
yes.
And I'm glad now it has come to light.
Yes.
Obviously, all those guys, all those CEOs, even that used to wear bad Masai belts, they're all thugs. All of them, all of them. No, so many people lost their jobs.
Yes, a lot.
Some of my colleagues, actually, I know one for sure who passed because they couldn't afford medical
stress
cover
heavy.
anymore. Some families had to move into slums. And it's crazy. A lot of people see only the ones who succeeded, the one or two. But they represent also another many who
didn't make it.
Who didn't make it. And nobody ever talks about those ones.
Okay.
Nobody ever talks about. And it's something that anybody who is in corporate, who runs big businesses, you always must think about. At the end of the day, it's about the people, not just the customer. You first put the internal customer.
Yes.
Because I can
you are
tell
the
you,
customer.
us guys used to be mistreated all the time. We're always on strike.
Yeah,
And at the time, even what you're asking for is so little. Yeah, it's a basic thing, Other airlines in the world, those days used to be paid per hour, allowances. Then you just say, ongeza me per hour.
That's it.
Allowance. Guys will complain, will say what, and then the next thing you scale, the management have jiongeza to you what percent salos.
And yet, the guys make color when that nigga takes off. Most airlines, when the nigga takes off, then they start counting. They're like, okay, so you guys are now airborne. So those are the hours you get, because that's when you're
It
working.
was such madness.
Are you
It
serious?
was such madness. So anyway, after I was fired from that job, now really I didn't. Okay, but I knew one thing for sure. One thing I knew for sure is that I don't want to be employed. First, I'd been out of the corporate scene for so long, in such a long time. I was not ready to start writing those emails for as per my last email. It has come to my attention.
I hope you.
My attention is drawn.
As per the subject, the subject refers. Kind regards.
Above matter refers. What the hell? I was not ready. So I knew.
Copied it.
And I tell you, I'm copying everyone, even the security guy. And I was saying, I'm just putting each other on blast.
Oh, yeah, man.
So I knew I don't want to be employed. I just didn't know how that's gonna work.
Yes.
So I had so many things I was trying. So I started a flower company, which didn't do. It did well initially, but then with time I started knowing everybody's clan day. I started knowing everybody's issue. Like let me tell you, this Nairobi. Hey, I need to see what happened to there. There's a guy I remember. One day maybe I'll look for him. He was a very good customer, man. Every time he ordered 4 bouquets.
Oh wow.
4. So there's for person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4.
Oh, each and for different people.
Different people. Different. Sasa huyu wa first unakuta anakwambia message you message. Tell that one it was so awesome to see you Jana. Then the other one, make sure I can't wait to see you later today. So you can't mix up. And you guys like this is too much burden. And you're like, you have to really
Because like it's a relationship.
you guys it was too much. And so when they come out, thank you.
You're like, it is 3 more.
But they-
For 3 other chicks.
That guy was so extra. And he never ever ordered it for one.
In particular.
It was like when he thought of them, he thought of all
All
of
of
them.
them. I love them all.
Jason, where are you? Because he was low. He was like, come, Nico cars. But I mean, it was an interesting job, but then I was doing it to survive. I learned quite a bit about business.
Yes.
And I'm glad I had that experience.
Yeah.
Later on, that didn't work. I tried out a travel company. The best thing I did actually when I lost the job is, even before I tried anything, I took time to just travel. Yeah, to travel differently.
Yes.
So like in KQ, we're always in 5-star hotels.
Yes. Oh,
So and all hotels in the world are the same. I can tell you all of them. They're all 5-star. They're all the same.
Nothing
After day one, there's nothing much impresses you.
Yeah.
But it's the same. The expensive menu.
Yes.
So even the travel experience is not really legit. I dare say. So when I was fired, I took 2014. Mostly, especially 2014. That was 2 years after I lost the job. I did a road trip to Cape Town and back.
Yeah, I remember that.
A couple of bikers, we raised money, which is also good sometimes when you lose a job. Sometimes the rush to trying to get into something else, most likely you will invest wrong.
Yes.
Because you're being led by emotions, you're being led by insecurity.
Your pocket, you're like, yo, I need to get back
which is fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but if you can, take a break. Just don't. Just take like from your handshake, take like 10%. Just say this one. Let me just tour the country. Even if it's by bus or by enjoy. Just take time to just be. So I did that, went to SA, did Nairobi, Cape Town with a couple of bikers, came back, raised money for school kids.
How many days was that by the way?
It was like 40 days.
2020.
Like pole. And then after that, I got an opportunity to go to South America.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Hey,
With the capoeira guy.
Hey, it was so nice. Went to Brazil.
He finally got his green belt.
I got my green belt. I have a green belt. Capoeira. So I did Bolivia, you know, just road tripping.
Yeah.
There was a crazy guy who drove Nairobi to Brazil. Crazy guy. So, because I helped him go with the planning, he offered a ticket.
What?
Because Ethiopian Airlines came on board as a sponsor. So he asked me which section of this journey
you want to jump in.
I'd never been to South America. So I told him, yeah, give me the last leg. So it was nice. You know, I went to, I saw, you know, those coca leaves.
Yes,
Yeah, I chewed them. You know, they chew them.
Pablo, lo plata.
Alguna pregunta para. Sí. It was such a nice experience. So I realized actually the real thing about travel, what people don't realize, travel should be about people. Experience people. If you don't experience the people's food, their language, their culture, their local brews, you know, then you've not really traveled.
Yes.
If all you saw was a hotel reception and a brochure,
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
and then maybe you did like a one tourist site, like you went to the equivalent of their KFC and did.
It's not the same, yeah. It's not the same.
So it's not the same.
Lakini sio kusema mkunywe changama kwa haramu.
Kunyweni!
No.
Iko nini? Kunywa!
Sasa wao wanasema kunywa mnazi is natural. Changa is cooked but they go.
I mean, like if you go to like to Ethiopia, they have the honey wine.
Yes.
Says, drink it, enjoy it. Just understand, you know, culturally,
Of course.
where does this, you know, and that actually changed my perception of travel.
Yes.
Now how I travel has totally changed. So that time I was in Brazil. I stayed in the favelas.
Nice.
I played capoeira. Went to danced on the street. Like I lived like a Brazilian cabisa, which was so much. Yani I've never had such a fulfilling experience. You know, next time I go to travel was to Ethiopia. Now I go to Ethiopia twice a year. Just to dance with them on the streets. There's a festival called Tinkat.
Yes.
So on the streets, hey, you know, guys being baptized.
Yes.
Really nice.
Oh, nice.
I've also had the chance to go live with the Rasta community.
Yes.
Shashamane.
Yes, I was coming to that. But
It was so nice. You get to see life so differently.
yeah.
And you know, there are guys who live a life that when you get to see life from their perspective, it's life changing. It changes everything in your DNA.
Yeah.
Because like, hey, Rasta guys, those guys have figured life out. You know, first they eat well, they provide for themselves. You know, you find a guy with a quarter of an acre that grows all his food, everything in his compound is built with his hands.
Yeah.
Even the water, even the water, there's another level of just how pure the water is.
Yes,
because next to the well is planted bamboo.
For filter.
So you just find like it's such a. Then they don't, like the family I was staying with, they don't have TV. It was the first time I saw children who are very excited to be like their father.
Oh wow.
And that was very life-changing for me. But you realize, when you're there by day 3, you realize why. Because this family, every single day, they don't have a TV, they have a transistor radio. They are each other's entertainment.
Yes.
They will sit down and talk, like, Adam, how was your day?
It's like when Steve Poteas.
Like
all of a sudden, Jason.
Hey, how are you? The wife is there, preparing coffee, It was a very interesting life. It started that actually started defining for me what wealth is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not about how much you have. It's about how you can be content with the little that you have. And that's why people who are rich will always wonder, why are poor people happy?
True. It's like, those guys in the slums, I'm like, because they figure out life.
They don't figure out life, they have nothing.
Yeah, and
all they have is each other. All you have is each other. So you learn to, you know, hey, only John, you know, you can have also not pick John. Mimi sina ndo tukule mayai au sijali ndashikilia, you know. John gets it's that sense of community.
Wow.
And that's something people even who leave that situation and finally get money, they spend their lives trying to
Get back in there.
You know, but now all of a sudden you have friends who like you just because
of your
money.
cash. Yes.
You're always look on Twitter. Beware of fake friends.
Always upset. Always upset.
But you know, yeah. So it was a wonderful experience. So after that, now of course, after now I came back from Brazil.
Yeah.
Actually, I had started BYSS just before I left for Brazil. But I had an idea of many things I want to do. I had ideas. I wanted to try shooting documentaries. I want, you know, there's just. But I also didn't know how to get back into the arts. I've been out of, because me naturally I'm a great actor, theatre actor. I trained for acting in SA.
Oh, nice.
But you know, now I was wondering how do I get back into the industry. So we just started BYSS like that as a joke. I just called a few guys and like, hey, Mugash. I had coffee with Mugash. Like, Mugash, who can we call for this type of job? We were like, let's call Lani. That's how we came up with the cast.
Oh.
Hey, June. Julie, she'll be so on point. Call her, hey, June is up. So, hey, it's Jason. You remember me? I have an idea. You guys, as soon as all of them said yes, next thing they saw was a poster. Because I didn't want to second guess.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so from there, I just now became, you know, I thought it was a once-off. First show, guys came, there were so many.
Oh,
I was
nice.
like, okay. So I did another one.
Yeah.
I did another one due to public demand. Guys came. I'm like, okay. So I was like, guys, what do you think? Okay, let's try another one, Brayburn. It's hard. Then I'm like, okay, do we try again? So we noticed with time, the more we did it, the earlier the tickets were selling out.
Oh.
So you find like usually, so because you started on Fridays, usually they sell out just before the show.
Yes.
Just before the show starts. Then with time, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday.
As soon as the smokers get inside.
Yeah, but like any show is on Thursday, but
Monday.
by Monday-ish, Tuesday, you're like musho tickets. So I was like, wow, this is interesting. So now I was like, but it took me a long time before I embraced it as a full-time job. For me, I always looked at it as a side hustle. I think I still felt like it wasn't
the pool for.
It was you know, at this stage, you have like a theatre key. Then your pals every time you meet, you know your boys, the ones you know now them they're senior level corporate.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys even like you know, when you look at the R1, no, because the
the graphs and
you know, like the customers Q1 and you're like,
God damn it, yeah, you know, we're really pushing out for Q3 because the forecast has been set for us with the relaunch and new product Q3.
I know now with the dollars you're doing a lot of nonsense. Nonsense. So you know, in your head you always think like, wow, everybody else is doing better.
Yes.
But you know, when you embrace what you're doing, when you just love it, it loves you.
It loves you back.
So at some point, I have to say we were doing it just to pay the next bill. And then also by this time, I've never run a business like properly.
Yeah.
So now, hey, things are becoming serious. Bills are piling up.
Yeah.
You do a show, then you realize, you're not able to pay street supplier.
Yeah.
Now you start learning how to navigate debt, suppliers. Those things nobody will ever teach.
You learn on the job or the go.
Nothing ever prepared you. One day you just think you're running a profitable business, but when you sit down with an accounts guy to sit you down and now tell you
all the numbers.
Who haven't you paid? When have you paid your KRM? And then when you look, you're in so much debt.
You're negative.
What?
Negative.
So everybody who's in business has to learn those lessons. Yeah. So that's how I ended up starting BYSS. It was not that so 2014 Q3 we have the intention to start a show whereby
we plan for the revenues to be upwards of this and this. No.
None of that. As you guys, we do a show. We do.
Get it.
Hey, my guy, can you see a poster? So, hey, you guys, we fine. In fact, I think the first show, when we made we kunywa that money. We managed it same night.
Probably same venue.
Same across the street. We went to Mercury. Because it was at Michael Joseph.
Yeah.
I think some guys crossed. It was like 10, 11. We just crossed the barabara.
Mercury. Get it.
But no, heads were like, it was a great show.
Yeah, which is good. But you see, that's the difference because you've got people who are of similar mindset who are like,
Yeah.
we're here to have fun.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, if you're making money from having fun,
Yeah.
then that's the different story altogether. Then like,
Yeah.
actually, now it's something turned back here. And those guys are like, you're like, oh, okay. You do a few shows. I'm like, come. We bought tickets ourselves. This is how much they cost. How much of this are you going to do for?
You become busy like that.
It's always on Tuesday, page 2. Jesus Runo and his BYSS crew are in court denying tax evasion charges.
Man, I said, you guys, and you know what? Those lessons you only learn on the job. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
there is no day you will ever like find that you're just on point.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, once you embrace that about business, once you change that perception from scaring you to looking at it as this is a challenge or whatever I'm willing to learn.
Yeah.
Even just negotiating. I mean, tax evasion is sometimes people is just at you dino or maybe you are just doing their shara like that.
Yeah.
But there's other things like how do you manage debt?
Yes.
How do you manage suppliers? Because there are times, you are showing Mefika, you need setup, but you don't have money for deposits.
Yes.
So how do you learn to, you start learning to build relationships.
People,
suppliers,
skills, communication,
all those things, you learn on the job.
Yeah.
You never look at you and say, hey, I'm ready.
And that's a mistake most guys make because you work in employment, you think, but I mean, I understand money.
Yeah. You just need, Q4 is when Kenyans are like,
Get excited about doing things.
in June, guys don't spend because of budget.
It's cold.
It's all nonsense. I tell you, it's all nonsense.
But how has the journey been from BYSS 1?
Yeah.
Now you're doing BYSS what?
Hey, 6 years later.
Yes. You're number 1 now, you don't even know the number.
I think 40s. I think.
How has that journey been so far?
It's been amazing. I think if there's anything that has made me grow up and grow up really fast has been BYSS. Yeah. Like, initially when you're employed, employment is great, but when you don't have huge responsibilities, and sometimes it's not actually responsible in the sense that you're not, I don't know how to put it, in the sense that you're responsible for finding the money and 2, taking care of people. There's people who are responsible in the sense that they have a salo. So where the money is coming from is not your responsibility.
Yeah.
When you run a business, it's another level of responsibility.
You figure out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And you realize the trickle effect. If you don't pay this supplier, hey, you guys, that guy has kids.
Oh, yes.
If you don't pay this person, so now how do you
manage?
So it had to be a lot. I had to grow up really fast.
Okay.
Financially, especially.
Yeah.
Not financially in terms of having lots of money, because I've also never had actually a lot of money. It's just managing.
Yeah.
This comes in. You don't look at it as, you guys, dudes, here I come. No, Maze. You guys, that thing in Biashara is so depressing. You have, take a random figure. You have 2 meter in the account, but out of that 2 meter, 1.96
is not yours.
Is not yours. Okay. That's another level of discipline.
Yeah.
Because you also don't have the luxury of next month somebody is checking in.
Yes. So you have to figure out this house will be stretched until the next one.
Until the next one.
Yeah.
So figuring that out was I tell you.
So,
I even had to jipeleka Strathmore. I jipeleka like this Strathmore to some business course. Not at like hardcore business.
But either way,
it's an MBA.
But you need to get everything
compressed over a period of I think 8 to 12 weeks. So every week you have one class just to understand.
Yeah.
What's the rule of market?
It's good.
What's the supply?
Yeah.
DuPont formula. A lot of things that I don't use.
Dr. Jenga, be watching this. I'll be asking about the DuPont
formula.
Sorry, on the course.
And then it also, I think the other thing it gave me was freedom to just tell yourself, it's a very important thing that every human being must have. That whatever happens, you have what it takes within you to navigate.
Yeah.
If I didn't have the experience of losing my job, in 2012, and starting, you know, a small business and watching it grow from something very small into, you know, something that you would consider something. Then COVID, if COVID came under different circumstances, I think it would have affected me very differently.
It's because now you learn the ropes and you
Yeah,
manage it.
it's just that now, you know, COVID comes and you're like, wow, you can't have shows, everything has died. What do you do?
Yeah.
Now you don't look at it as
It's a mess.
It's a mess. We are finished. We are finished. It's now about looking. Okay, hey, now this has happened.
How do we
I need to call my landlord.
Yes.
You know, you also learn to communicate.
You're like, what do you have in the piggy bank?
You're like, boss, listen,
Yeah.
I've never refused to pay you.
But
in fact, when I've had money, I've paid you extra. But now I'm in a situation I don't have. So you have to be patient with me. You see, those are things you learn.
Of course.
Those are things you learn.
Yeah.
Because of doing business, you learn to face, you know,
Face as it is.
Hey, you go to a guy, you tell him, listen, I know I have your money. I've not refused, but I just don't have it now.
Yes.
For now, what I have is this.
Yes.
You know, and people actually respect that.
Yeah.
So hey, when COVID happened, I was grateful for the experience I had, because now I was like, hey,
Round 2.
round 2, but I hope we
full rocky.
okay. That's why I found myself selling honey.
Now
Yeah.
we have the honey. Yeah. Let's talk about the honey.
Yeah. So, hey, brokenness. I was living la vida broker. Because now there was no tunes.
Yeah.
You know, now I have more. I have 2 kids and a beautiful partner. Now, and then even, and I think I have permission to share this. She had also just resigned from her Jumbo in Feb.
Oh, this year.
This year, just before COVID, was it?
Nah. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I also pushed her because she didn't enjoy the Jumbo.
So she's always the one of you
In
up
the
your life.
morning, I like, wait, you either change or you.
Or you get just job or just
Either you suck it up, do the job, or you resign. So it found us at a very, hey,
That's a trying time.
it was, I can't even begin to explain. But one day, you know, surprisingly, I've always had good relationships with beekeepers. So my honey I've never bought from
Shops.
Yeah. Rarely. I always go to a beekeeper or someone I know who deals with bees.
Oh, nice.
So it was during COVID that I thought, maybe this is just maybe I should try. So when I went, I asked the guy, how much, how much? I just like, Then I checked price in the supermarket, I was like,
There's actually
there could be a
gap.
Anyway, you'll never know until you try. Because also, you know, there's things I call small, big things. There is no biashara, none on this planet. I think even after drugs, that is straightforward like this. You know how we always look at biashara?
Yes.
Hey, gari Japan is nako how much? Gari ni $1,000. So moja. So nakaa niuze half a meter. Hiyo ni rahisi sana. Until now you start getting complications of maybe sijui lipotea, sijui
the taxes of that.
hey, plans like these KRAs, like you need to, this moti cannot chomoke. You know, in your head you're already planning that 100K. Hey, customer already wired you the money, you've cooled kidogo, now you need extra. Okay. So I was like, yeah, it's not a huge gap, but maybe. So I said, let me try, just so that I can learn the ropes.
Yes.
But the more I dug in, you know, I started now really enjoying honey. I was so broke, so we couldn't even afford things like drinks. So, you know, now this time I almost stopped drinking kabisa.
Yeah.
Now very tight
Budget,
Hey, budget.
Water or drink.
Budget. Hey, water, man. You know, like we used to buy water, but all of a sudden you can't afford now, you know, you have to chemsha.
Yes.
Hey, so you learn to adjust.
The reality of life, by the way.
Very quick, fast. So when I tried first batch, I ordered, I sold. It's like, okay, this is interesting. But the cost, the what. So, but then now with time, I became so much more interested. Started learning about honey, started learning about bees, and I was like, whoa, mind blown. Before I know it, now I'm a bee farmer. I have beehives. You guys, it's therapy. I'm spending more time in shags now.
Yeah, because trying to get you here was a bit of a
because I'm always in
like, can I just come here?
So, you know, like these days I can sit in front of a beehive and just sit there and just watch them, and it's like,
It's therapy, man. This is it.
therapy, you know, and you just also get to see how they behave. and then the magic they create. You know, you leave the things there for like a week, you come back.
A different story
It's
altogether.
a different story. So they're like, wow, this is. So now that became my full-time job. Because it's not just, you know, like BYSS is great, but you know, because of corporate pressure, you know, a lot of times your business is supported by corporate.
Yes.
Sponsorship and stuff.
Tell me about it.
So sometimes you're not really, you really don't have the freedom to express yourself as an artist. So what beekeeping has done for me is that it has helped me to earn, you know, another source of income. And I think it makes me a better artist. So next time I get back on stage, I'm not trying to impress a certain corporate. Because
Your mindset
your mindset is, I mean, I'm just here to tell you a story. And this is because I have made this because of living in shacks. Because life is so different, you know. Like,
that's what I know to make girls to Jerusalem. Because I guess the shacks, and you walk together, you get a chopper,
you know, you learn, you're like, you also get to learn, you know, like guys in shacks are so happy. You don't have, you know, TV, there's no Wi-Fi. But
it's the people.
It's the people.
That's it.
It's the people. And that in itself is so life-changing.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up now keeping busy.
Oh.
And it's not something I want to stop.
How many hives now?
Right now, I mean, I've just started. So there's one thing I've learned. You know, that's I'm glad, you know, from the BYSS experience.
Yeah.
Even if you have money, always start small. Yani, even if money is in the account, don't ingia there again. You know, okay, so like now, for example, like beekeeping, you put the hives there. But you know, it's really nature that decides.
But then that's the thing. You can make it, it's not up to you.
You know, don't come there with your corporateness. In 4 months, you'll be able to break even.
Expected 5 bees. You know, for the next 10 months.
You even have graphs, you need spreadsheets with colors.
They fly in from this direction.
My friend, sometimes you have to let, you know, now that's the thing, you learn, this is nature.
Live and let live.
So you just wake up and you just, you know, pray.
Yeah.
Just pray. Like now when I put up hives, I have a ceremony for welcoming bees.
I'm
serious.
Get in here.
I'm like, hey guys, you're welcome.
Yeah, be easy.
I hope you find this home beautiful. I hope I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You have to pray.
Nimejenga kabalkoni
Kuna
3-bedroom hive.
Kujeni.
Nasikia the back.
Kujeni. Karibu na barabara. Miti ni mingi. You have to.
Yeah.
Then now you learn. Let me wait.
Yes.
So to answer your question,
Yeah.
I've only started with 8.
Nice.
The reason I started with 8, and I've put different types of hives, it's just what you learn.
Yes.
Give yourself time to learn. These things I call small, big things in any business, and all businesses have them.
Yes.
So I'll give you an example. The very first BYSS, I forgot, guess what? Wristbands.
Oh.
Wristbands. But you're luckily there were only 100 people at the show.
Okay.
So then we could come up with a solution real fast.
Okay.
But now imagine if we had the money in the account, you've done everything, you've put billboards, you've done, then you have 5,000 people at the gate and you don't have wristbands. My guy, you can die.
Yeah. I will guess the gear.
How will you know who's in here, who's paid, who's not paid? That time there's 5,000. You see, so it's a small thing, but it's a big thing.
Yes.
And those things you never learn them. Right out of,
off the bat, you
never understand.
Yeah.
So it takes, import one car first. If you're a guy importing cars, import one. Get to learn.
How the steps of how this happens.
Yeah, don't look at 10
motors and then everything.
10 cruisers waiting. Then you're learning those small big things on the...
With the big things on the ground.
You will die of depression very fast.
Yeah,
if you want to jenga apartments, go live in an apartment yourself.
Yes.
Get to understand the dynamics. A good apartment is the following. That's the only way people learn. Unfortunately, most people are never willing to learn that. They just want to hear, saa ziko na do. Agaya hapa ndege, ashaenda China. Like 100 watches. You're stuck here with watches. You realize nobody in Nairobi wants watches.
Yeah, it's like, we've got time, but we ain't got time for Yoshi.
You're there with 100 watches. You're like,
what?
Hey, Koshida.
Serious.
Yeah.
But now, so in terms of moving forward, small big things.
Yeah.
But this can actually be a master's class. Huh? But you've also got something you call Dine with the Bees.
Ah, yeah.
Yes. So I'd like us to talk about where did that come from and
Okay.
what's your thinking behind that?
So the one thing I learned from my good friend Chef Kim, let me tell you, Kenya has amazing people. There are people who have such amazing stories. So I'll tell you about Chef Kim. Kim is a guy who, and I hope I have his permission to share this. He's a guy who's always loved cooking.
Okay.
But from what he told me is that he was not like a student or whatever. So even at my class 8, he had given up. He had told even his mom, I want to go sell mandazi. So the love for cooking was there.
Yeah.
So you know what Kim said is like, his mom told him, you just finish shule, whatever you want to do, I'll support you. And that's an amazing parent. I have so much respect for her. So Kim has been to the best culinary schools.
Wow.
In Switzerland,
Oh wow.
in France. He's worked at the Royal Museum in
I don't know. Now let's pause that for a second.
Dine with the Bees.
We'll be right back after the break.
We'll be right back after the break.
And we're back after the break.
First break.
So dining with the bees.
Yeah.
What's the story behind dining with the bees?
Okay, so allow me to share the story of this amazing guy I was telling you. His name is Kim, Chef Kim. If you look around in Nairobi, especially, I can speak for Nairobi because I live here, there's a lot of young people, just people, let me not say young, a lot of people who are doing such amazing things. So Chef is a guy I met when they were launching his restaurant, 5 Senses. It's at Galana Plaza.
Yeah, I've actually eaten that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So so we met and just got talking. We talk a lot about food. I come from a background where me food. I was in body from class 3.
Mashakura is life.
And let me tell you how bad I was in the kitchen. I've never tried an egg, a boiled egg.
You chomad a boiled egg.
Imagine. Like, let me tell you, me the kitchen. Like, I didn't buy a cooker until 3 years ago. Even when I was a bachelor.
You guys, Maki, we're turning 40. Yeah, 3 years ago is 37.
Imagine. First time I bought a cooker. I always had to take out. Like I always eat where, if I'm somewhere, I just make sure. Somehow during the day, make sure
you eat before you go.
I make sure I have pulled out something. So when I go this, when I go this, just like a yogurt, like a fruit salad.
Boarding and not cheap.
That's my lunch. So anyway, I met Chef and his story is so amazing. So this guy has been to some of the best culinary schools in Switzerland. Then he went to school in France.
Nice.
He's worked and he did his internship at a 3-star Michelin restaurant.
Wow.
He's worked in France.
That's your Michelin attire. Just in case. Google is your friend.
So he throws those names around like, hey. So I'm like, yo, Kim, your life. So anyway, he's worked in Qatar at the Royal Museum in Doha, the Royal Islamic Museum in Doha. He worked at the restaurant there. So him and food, like he speaks food so effortlessly. So one day I was with him and it was a challenge to him. It was actually like a bet. I told him, boss, can you make, now that I've discovered honey, I discovered flavors, I discovered, how honey is different depending on where it's from, color, texture, tastes. Yeah. There's so much.
Yes.
I know for a lot of people, honey is just honey. Yes. But the world of honey is just so diverse.
Yeah.
So I challenged him. Can you be able to make meals, 3-course, starter, main, and dessert, all have honey influence, including the drink?
Oh.
Like my guy, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we went to the kitchen, he guessed a few things. Okay, not guessing, of course, but he did like things.
Yeah.
The next thing I'm seeing, a plate.
Hey.
Try this.
Okay.
What? And then I start dissecting every
bit of what is going into that plate.
So the reason I've put the cheese is so that
you can forget this one.
The watercress does what the flavor does. You guys, Kim makes me or has made me enjoy food.
Wow.
Yeah, food can be like there's just something he does.
Flavor.
Flavor, richness.
Yes.
Even the portions.
I see the portions online. They're not really big, but you're like.
But when you done the 3 course, you're full.
Done.
You're full.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
And then you guys like about crying.
You guys. Jaza.
And then with the watermelon on top.
You guys hear that thing? Okay. Watermelon has on to dear life.
Oh shit. Well, they go down, cliffhanger.
So he really has made me really appreciate food.
Okay.
So we came up with a concept of dine with the bees. So it's a 3-course meal where everything has an influence of honey.
Nice.
But it's not to say, like, a lot of people they think it's just obvious. Pork chops with
Honey glaze.
just
Whipping.
No. It's just about how do you use it. Actually, sometimes with his food, you can't quite taste the honey, but you can feel the influence.
Yes.
I can't explain it. So you can taste. You can't. But wait.
Where is it?
It's there. You
But
can
you
tell.
can't see.
You know, it took somewhere at your mind somewhere.
Yes.
You can feel that's honey. So it's even sometimes just literally like a drop to.
Just like
It changes the
the
flavor.
whole flavor of the food.
When you combine spearmint with what, then you wake up what, and then you just wake up honey like chop. You got your eyes. You just one place like just your eyes roll back and like
You just had a food card.
I swear. So it has made me love honey even more.
Yeah.
It has made me love food even more.
Yeah.
So it's not something we do actually we only admit 20 people.
Yeah.
Only 20 guys?
Yeah.
Because so we serve the first course. Okay, first we start with the honey tasting. What to look for when tasting honey. You know, how to tell good honey.
Bad honey, yes.
There's just so much. We talk about honey first.
Yeah.
Why it's important. Why it's important for people to plant trees. Why it's important for people to consider beekeeping.
The ripple effect of it actually.
There's people who have a lot of idle land. In Nairobi,
Actually,
a guy has 2-3 acres in Shags.
Doing nothing.
Nothing. So you can try beekeeping. Keep so long as you have someone there. So we talk about those things.
And just to interject. There's the Wolves of Yellowstone. I always give this thing. I don't know if you've watched that documentary.
No.
The Wolves of Yellowstone Park, and this gets introduced. I think it was 12 wolves or so that'd been removed and long gone from the park. They brought those 12 wolves back in there, and those things basically changed. The water became more, the trees became more, the entire ecosystem just changed. And because of these 12 wolves breeding, and then of course the deers are not eating all the nyasi everywhere.
Yeah.
The fish all of a sudden came back.
The
ripple effect is so amazing. So I think the same thing you have to think with the bees.
Would
have the same effect in different places because flowers, pollen, sugar, and
it's so important. Let me tell you, there's something we must change as human beings and must change immediately. A lot of times when we think about nature and we think of the universe, we look at it more as a pyramid with ourselves at the top. But really, it's not. It's a circle.
Yeah.
Then think of somewhere like Masai Mara. Without the wildebeest, the grass will not grow. But also the wildebeest keep the grass in check.
Yes.
Without the cats, the wildebeest population will become too much, which then now becomes a problem also. So there's another delicate balance that has been maintained from the bird that coolers the ticks, the wildebeest. The wildebeest cooling the grass at the same time manuring it.
Those things.
So it's a cycle, and human beings must now start looking at the universe that way. So we talk about that. We talk about why it's important. Why it's very important to know. Part of the reason why we have a lot of cancers and stuff right now is because a very simple thing. You want to hear it? We're not interacting with our food.
We're eating everything.
That's number one.
Cooked and moved.
Like in shads, you realize in shads, when you're eating nyama, you possibly know the name of that mbuzi.
But they probably, yes. Mothoni.
You know, even when you buy food from the market, you know where this lady comes from. She tells you, I mean, I come from. So you sort of have an idea
where it's been planted, what not,
exactly.
Yeah.
In Nairobi and in urban cities, we don't have that. We just buy food off shelves.
No, we buy shit comes.
We don't know where it comes from.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
So that's one thing we encourage guys to do, like time of the days. Go to the market, buy your own food from. Try to build a relationship with the fruit vendor.
Yes. Figure out where they come from.
Where do they come from?
What story behind
what are
it?
the challenges they face? What are you growing this time? You know, that changes your whole relationship with food.
There's a guy, I won't say who because they've not endorsed this show. You know, the guys were not local, but they've done the same thing. When you go to the shop, they tell you, so these Birikanyas are from.
I know them.
This guy,
I know them.
I'm like,
I know them. And I really like their stuff.
I know me too, but I'm like, this has been here for how many years? And nobody has ever done this for us. I'm like, is it something we don't have or we're missing? Or
No, it's because we spend so much time. I know you can't blame really people because remember, we grew up wanting really what the West had. And
everything in TV was good. Yes.
Everything in TV was good. So that shift to supermarket happened. And it was very glorified. If you remember a long time, your mom would tell you,
Donyo.
Let's go Donyo. Saturday morning, you go Biashara Street looking for. So there was that interaction. These days, it's not really that much. It's even going to a level now where we are, we are buying food off internet. It's just delivered to you.
But you don't know where it's come from. You don't know whether it's good, bad.
Look at those videos of like guys of delivery, Kula and Kukus.
You know what's not again. Not sure that it's okay.
So I'm encouraged to interact with my food.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we tell guys who come. Don't let your interaction with food be the same. So and then now after that we start the first course, the starter. We cooler, chef comes, we discuss. He tells you why he added what, why he did what to what, why the ingredients were like this.
Full biology class of what's happening there.
Then like, any questions? No? Okay, are you ready for the next course? Good. We discuss. And then, final course, we discuss. People ask questions.
Wow.
Then we can mix, we can mingle. Then everybody gets some honey.
Okay.
And you go home.
Wow. So Dan with the bees is a must.
Yeah.
He's my boy, like in the Super again.
Next one is in December. Next one is in December. And I really want to give Chef Kim a huge shout out.
Yeah.
He's really changed my life as far as.
So actually, we should have him on soon because I'd like to actually document that whole process. So
okay.
It's, things nowadays, people don't appreciate what is happening. And there's experiences which you don't appreciate until you even hear about them. Because you'll be like, I didn't know that is happening in Nairobi. Like, for example, BYSS is one. Until people started talking about it in terms of talking about it, Shaz, stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Guys like, there's actually a stand-up comedy show. Yes, there's Churchill, but
not just the show.
Yes.
Scene.
Yes, I won't think, and you're like,
it's another world.
Yes, people know what Churchill like, but this other side of the world that actually. And that's the thing. It's about interactions. And right now, people are at home. You want to give them that opportunity to experience different things. So that when you come out of this COVID thing, you're not just going to go back doing the same old things. Yeah. It's going to be something different.
I think the other thing we need to learn is to coexist, even within. Not everything is a competition.
Yes.
Hey, Mazee Kenyans, we need to chill out. Honestly, when BYSS started growing, not once or twice, some guys would come and say, I've seen what you're doing in comedy. Hey, even these guys in comedy, the big ones, they'll know you. I'm like, boss, listen, like, Nairobi alone has like 6 million people.
There's enough for everybody.
There is more than enough for everybody. You can start your own comedy thing today. And I've learned actually, it gives me more value to help people and encourage more people to get into the scene.
Yes.
Because then there's diversity.
Yes.
There's diversity. We can't all be laughing at the same jokes. That's the one thing I don't like about, like following in this Chile. Just because you don't find that funny doesn't mean somebody else doesn't find that funny. Yes. And we cannot all find the same people funny.
True.
So, just choose what works for you. Celebrate it. There's somebody else who enjoys another type of humor, and you cannot look down on it.
No,
you cannot. It's just people appreciate things differently. So also that has made me really appreciate people who are in the same field as I am.
Yes.
Because I realized that if you look at it as a competition, then Granted, there's a sense of competition, but it's not like
So
we must finish you. You know, we're not trying to finish you. You know what I mean?
There's enough to go around.
You learn that you get to learn. Like now, I'm friends with a couple of beekeepers because now I source my honey from beekeepers.
Yes.
I can tell you, every time I go to a beekeeper, I learn something I didn't know about.
Yeah.
I learned something. I buy the honey. You know, I can't be there saying, those guys, they know me. They know me.
What did you I'll finish them.
I'll finish them. Okay, you're not going there. You're just there of your depression.
Live and let live.
Live and let live. You know, I learn so much from them.
Yeah.
I get challenged as well. Because sometimes you go to a guy who you thought maybe he's a joker. You see the guy's operation and like, what? He's actually, and you realize, even me, I'm doing certain things wrong.
Yes.
I need to change, you know.
Yes.
And then also, when that guy has a deficit in his supply, who else will he look for?
To you.
He just look for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Like my guy, I'm short of a few kilos. So
please let me.
Yeah.
So we must look at work like that. It's not about how do you add value to your customer.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's about the customer. How can I be a better person? How can I improve my product for the customer? And that, for me, that's the thing I'm learning with the honey business. Granted, there's so many people selling honey. In fact, someone commented, Kwani COVID, everybody's selling honey. But my guy, I'm not competing.
Selling honey, everyone has become a TV producer,
a
vlog, a show.
It's fine. The more, the merrier.
And no matter what you've thought of, somebody else, like a million other people have thought or done the same thing.
Exactly.
So just find your differentiator and run with it.
Just run with it.
Yeah.
It's like I find guys, even they have a vlog. I can't be on another vlog. They're like,
Yeah, I've met some people like that, but they're not like, dude, it's not a competition.
Chill out, please.
We're different.
You're not that important. And you see, like the beauty of now you hosting someone who has a vlog as well. They introduce your audience. You introduce your audience to a new person, and he also introduces his audience to a new.
Vice versa.
So there's like a very beautiful cross pollination of audience that happens. But if I say I'll stick with my guys, these ones are mine.
It's like me and Amani. We just said, you do podcasts.
Exactly. Oh, that was amazing.
Like, you know what? Let's just combine this and see how it's going to work out.
That was a really awesome conversation.
So, you know what? It's about life. It's something politics. And I told you know what? Actually, moving forward, because men, we don't speak.
Yeah.
And a lot of us have gone through a lot of things. We also need to incorporate that kind of culture where we get guys to actually start talking about stuff.
Just talking. I'd love to learn your experiences from business.
Yeah.
Because I can't say I know everything. I have my experience, but we can learn from each other.
Yeah, definitely.
We can support each other.
Yes.
Without myself, even if I can't afford to buy your stuff, it doesn't cost me anything to share. Like,
this is what it is.
Yeah.
Buy Jason's honey.
Exactly.
Go to the it is what it is.
It doesn't take anything.
It's not away from me. Yeah.
Nothing. So that's been my experience so far.
Okay.
I'm loving it. I'm loving I'm learning most important aspect to have in life is acceptance. A lot of us deal with a lot of issues because we have not accepted. Say maybe someone lost their job during COVID, but they're still trying to live like things are okay.
Above board.
Yeah, things are fine. Doing that corporate speak. Sometimes you just accept yourself for who you are. Accept your situation.
Yeah.
From there, by then you can only go up.
But yeah, true.
Once you accept situation, you're like, hey, okay, I'm in debt, and it's this much.
How do I get out?
First things first. Maybe there's people I need to call. But what we do instead is, hey, I'm in debt. I have to keep faking it till I really make it.
No.
So you
just keep on digging.
You're digging deeper and
you're in a shimo.
And if you can't, shout for help. Yeah, it doesn't take anything from you. Just if I come and tell you, my guy, I'm in a bad situation. The most you tell me is I can't help.
I can't help you. That's it.
And I'm not, sometimes we don't have because we don't ask.
Yeah. Like in sales, we say the worst thing you can be told is no.
No.
It's okay. I know it can also be a maybe or not now.
Or it could be a yes.
Yeah. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
If you get a yes, then you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So it happens. Even like during COVID, I had a situation where I was in a bad place. I just went to a friend of mine, told him, listen, we have no money. And if you give me money, I probably won't be able to pay you.
Yeah.
But I need work.
But you're honest.
If you give me work,
I'll walk the money off.
if you give me work, give me something to do for you, and I gave options. But you know,
I'll pay. You pay me.
pay me. Yeah, pay me for what I
Yeah.
give you value. You know, I also. I was like, okay, makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. You see, but sometimes we try to show everybody. Listen, I'm good.
When you go digs and you can't feed yourself for your farm, it's you. It's not about those guys out there, by the way. And that's what guys don't realize. My friend, be very clear on what is important is what is at home.
Yeah.
So you do what you need to do, but come back home and feed guys. Bigger bowling out there. You heard what Malu said. He said, guys will put on 25% base salary.
Was it?
And then you've got loans for your V8, Mama's Range Rover, and the digs is on mortgage. What do you do?
My friend.
And then you roll by the Kazi Misha.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. And I think acceptance is one thing. A lot of people in our heads, when we interact with ourselves, we interact with the person we think we should be.
Yes.
Not the person that we think, not the person that we really are.
Yes.
And that whole, so you lie to yourself, but you also don't realize you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
You must learn to accept, and I'm grateful for my late mother for that. And she told me, you know what, no matter what happens, she always used to say, no matter what happens, tomorrow, 6 o'clock, the sun will be up.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah. And you only will be down.
Yes.
The next day, it will be up. So you
what-
must jipanga properly and, pole. If things happen, accept them.
My Jojo used to tell me in Kimbere, Koganwane Kora, which basically means Koganwane Kora. When you're being praised, you're getting lost. Because everyone will be singing your praise. So you always have to say, hey, Jason. So you don't realize that things are tight, but you still want to be. Keeping up with the Joneses, my friend. What are you or you?
Me, actually, this Jones family, I want to meet them.
Yeah, I think we should make a Kenyan Jones family. No, but I think it's a good thing what you're doing.
Thanks, man.
We are really, really watching what you do. We follow you a lot, and we hope that, of course, we hope nothing but the best for you.
Thanks.
And please, do buy my good friend's honey.
Yeah, it's available.
So I'm kind of hoping that you leave this 2 kgs with me. Yeah,
You'll pay them and leave it.
yeah, I'll send Lisa. And also done with the bees and BYSS. Life is a journey, my friends, and it's one of those that you can't explain. There's no manuscript. You take it as it comes. But thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
we need to have 2 more sessions.
Yeah.
One with the bees and one as we dined. And then a third one with just our experiences of how Maisha has been, as dudes. But yeah, for now, thank you very much. I appreciate your time so much.
Thanks.
You're real.
Thanks.
It's been a long time, but
It's been
thank you so much,
interesting.
man.
Actually, in closing, what I would say is, in life, the Bible talks about the word being a lamp unto your feet. You know what people don't realize, that it doesn't say a torch. It doesn't say torch. Sometimes, guys, unfortunately, we are trained or brought up to think that you must have life figured out.
Yes.
And that's very arrogant. You hear guys saying, me by the time I'm 40. Who you have contract with who?
My friend. It's yourself. You're not.
You have contract with who telling you you'll be here when you're 40. Who said, it's fine. What's your goal 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yes.
So that lamp is enough to mulika for you your next step.
Yeah.
Not that you touch to
see you
it's just your next step. You just need to trust kabisa that this next step that I'm seeing is leading me closer to something more beautiful. But a lot of times that beauty is never revealed. It's actually when you get there you realize, wow,
this is what it is.
This is what it was for.
Yeah.
But just trust. We're here today. Make the best episode. That's what we need.
Yes.
Just for now.
That's it.
Where it leads, nobody knows. Nobody knows. So that's at least the lesson I'm learning, and I think that's maybe what I'll close with. If
that's
closing
perfect.
statement.
Because you always ask guys to give me a closing shot of what they think, and that's perfect. That's perfect. So
Next step.
take step. And it's a lamp, not a torch. It's not a flat D.
It's not a flat D.
Each step, one step at a time.
Just take the next step. So, because I have guys who come to me, I want to install 100 highs. I'm like, boss, chill out.
You don't even understand how one high works. How do you do the 100?
It's one. You might not like it. you might hate it.
Yeah, you're like, oh my
You
god.
may realize you're
what is
allergic, you've been stung, now you're there coughing, you're there frothing.
this? I think in the movies. What's it called? That guy.
EpiPen. Try one first. You might hate the job. You might hate bees.
Yeah.
So just next step.
Yeah, next step. Take it as it comes. Take it as it comes. No. But thank you so much for that, man.
Thanks,
Much
man.
appreciated.
Thanks.
We will keep on following, keep on buying, keep on dining. And until the next time, thank you very much.
Boom, boom. Cheers.